In this particular video, what we're going to learn in Excel is the logical functions if, and, or. Okay, so these are the three examples through which we're going to understand how these logical functions can be used in Excel. Starting with the if example, what we are trying to do here basically is find out and compare the sales and target and decide whether this particular person has achieved the target or not achieved it. For example, if you have a look at Joe's, the sales that Joe's has made is 1,000, whereas the target was 5,000. So what do you think is the result? Has he achieved the target or he hasn't? He has not achieved the target because the sales that he has made is less than the target. Similarly, if you have a look at David, the sales was 6,000, the target was 5,000. So here the sales is greater than the target, hence we can say that he has achieved his target. For Neha, she made a sales of 2,000, whereas the target was 4,000. So again here she has not achieved the target. Now what we are doing here is we are looking at a condition and then displaying the result. These are the conditions wherein we'll say that the sales, if they are greater than the target, then the result will be achieved. Okay, if the sales is less than the target, then the result would be not achieved. So what we are going to do is we are using this logical function if, which will help us in automating this process. If we went to do this manually, it'll take a lot of time. Although here we have only 3 people for whom we need to decide the result, but in case if there are 500 employees and we have to see if they have achieved the target or not, do you think it will be easy for us to check and then write the result every time? Okay, not only it will be time consuming, but there will be a possibility of error that can come into picture, which would be very wrong for your database. Correct? So we are going to now use the if function. What you need to do is type in is equal to on your keyboard and type if. As soon as you click on if, you will find that this function is now available to you, and Excel tells us that it checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if false. Okay, so we are going to use this. This was the syntax. Let's click on if, and now you can see the syntax in front of you. What it asks for you first is the logical test. Okay, what is the logical test for us? If the sales is greater than target, then the value if true means target achieved, comma, value if false. If sales is not greater than the target, then it will be not achieved. Okay, so these are the 3 things that we need to put in. What is the logical test? What will be the value if it is true? What will be the value if it is false? So let's type in. For us, the logical test would be whether the sales is greater than the target, right? So if C5 is greater than D5, this is our logical test. You should always link the numbers. Never type in if, open the bracket, 1,000 greater than 5,000. We link the cells so that we can drag this and copy this formula for all other cells as well. Next, value if true. If this value is true, then the target would be achieved. So we open the inverted commas, type in achieved, close the inverted commas. Now it will ask you value if false. So we type in comma. If this logical test fails, if C5 is not greater than D5, then it will be, the value should be not achieved. Close the inverted commas, close the bracket and click enter. As soon as you click on enter, the result is right here in front of you. You can see the formula that we used right above in this bar, formula bar. The result for Joe's is not achieved. Let's now copy paste this formula for the remaining 2 cells. Control C I have used, and now I'm Control V. pasting it. Okay, we have basically pasted the formulas. So now if you see, click on F2 to check the formula, and you find that if C6 is greater than D6, then the target is achieved, otherwise it is not achieved. So in this case, yes, 6,000 is greater than 5,000 and David has achieved the target. Similarly, Neha, sales is less than the target, hence her result is not achieved. Correct? So this if command is very helpful, very useful when we have one condition and two or more or multiple conditions. Okay, so this is about the logical function if. How do we use the AND command in Excel? What does this AND do? This AND will return me a true value if both A and B are greater than 100. That is an example we are taking. So let's say if A is greater than 100, B is greater than 100. Both, if they are greater than 100, then it will give me a value as true. Okay, so we will now use the AND command. Let's put the is equal to, type in and this gives us the meaning of this function. It checks whether all arguments are true and returns true if all arguments are true. Only if the condition that you have set, if that is true for both A and B together, then only it will give us a true, otherwise it will give us a false. Let's open the bracket and see the syntax. Okay, it asks us to give us the logic, the condition that we want, right? So for us it will be B12 greater than 100, comma 800 greater than 100, that is C12. We close the bracket and press enter. Yes, since both A is 500, B is 800, they both are greater than 100, it is giving us a value true. Let's copy paste this, Control C, Control V, and here you will find that false. Why is it false? It is false because though this A is greater than 100, B is not greater than 100. Similarly here, A is less than 100 and B is greater than 100. It is giving us a value false. So this is the AND example. Let's now look at OR function in Excel. OR, it is quite intuitive. If you just understand this function OR, it means that if either of the two work, then it will give true. If either of your conditions also do not work, it will give you a false. For example, if 500 is greater than 100 or if 800 is greater than 100, then it will give you a true or else not. Okay, let's type in OR and you can see that it checks whether any of the arguments are true, any, and returns true or false. Returns false only if all arguments are false. Okay, let's open the bracket. It will ask for the logic. Our logic is basically B18 greater than 100, comma C18 greater than 100. Close the bracket, press enter. So this is true, right? Both of them are greater than 100, so it is going to give us a true. Let's see over here. Copy this formula. Let's paste this across. Here also it is a true because although B is less than 100, since A is greater than 100, it is giving us a true. Similar case for the numbers over here. Right? So if you compare the AND or, you will come to know that what is the basic difference between the two. Here we are considering either of the arguments needs to be a true, and here both the arguments needs to be a. Okay, so guys, this was the logical functions if, and, or. You need to quickly go through the exercise that has been given to you so that you have understood it well.